And folks, if you decide to support the Pacific Justice Institute on either a one-time or a monthly basis, we have a wonderful gift of appreciation for you. It's a hardbound copy of Mike Huckabee's book, God, Guns, Grits, and Gravy. It's an autographed copy of this hardbound book, and it's our gift to you if you choose to support the Pacific Justice Institute on either a one-time or a monthly basis. It's real easy to do. Just go to our website, pji.org, P for Pacific, J for Justice, I for Institute.org, pji.org. And there you can also sign up to receive our Legal Insider. Sometimes you listen to this program and you say, hey, that's great, but wouldn't you like to have more information? Wouldn't you like to be kept up with exactly what's happening on a weekly basis with this short updates? That's the Legal Insider, and so many of you have already signed up. I strongly encourage you to have this. It keeps you updated, you're informed, but also gives you opportunity to pray for specific things as well. Once again, it's our Legal Insider. You get that on our website at pji.org. And earlier we were talking with Barry McGuire about sharing faith. I love to share my faith, and I do it when I'm traveling other places. But one of my favorite places to share the gospel and evangelize is actually behind a pulpit at churches across the country. And if you'd like me to come guest preach at your church, my staff can send you one of my latest sermons I'm doing, which is 2 Timothy chapter 3 and part of chapter 4. It's expository, verse by verse, very evangelical, very evangelical. I love seeing people coming to Christ at the end of a service. So if you'd like me ever to come guest preach at your church, I don't charge anything. If there's travel involved, it's nice to have some help on the travel side, but we don't charge anything, no honorariums required. It's because it's a part of our ministry, it's part of my ministry and our heart of what we do, what we're about, which is seeing lives changed. And as I said earlier, that at the end of the day, that's the answer for turning this country around, is seeing lives change. So if you ever like me to come, if you feel led, like me to come guest preach at your church, just contact our office. And you can do that easily on the website. Simply just do scheduling at pji.org, scheduling at pji.org, or you can just call our office and ask for Linda. But anyway, we have with us on the line now one of our attorneys to talk about a very important case, our chief counsel, Kevin Snider from our Sacramento office. Kevin, thanks for being on the program. And let me just ask right up front, this thing that's taken place at a high school, a public high school, it really baffled me when I saw what was taking place because we're dealing with a pro-life club. It's a very positive thing. Tell us the story behind this.
Well, there was a young man who works with pro-life groups out on the street, and he's so interested in it and enthused that he decided to start a club at his high school. And so he put together an application. There are things that have to go into that, and he submitted it to the Associated Student Body for approval. And the purpose of the club, he says, is to provide information to teens with unplanned pregnancy, as well as their options, risks, and some financial help if needed.
Wow, that sounds good.
I think it sounds great.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing. And particularly for a young man, you got to have hats off to a 14, 15-year-old.
Wow. Yeah.
But they turned him down, and they wrote that the student club says these topics are covered in health class, and they have a very low pregnancy rate they claim at the high school, and hence they denied the application.
So these are like the student leaders, like the student council that made this decision? Okay.
Right, it was.
And
so,
and they cited, they said, because we don't have a lot of teenage pregnancies, and this is already covered in health class, it's not needed. Of course, there's a real problem with that, because I'm sure in a public school, public high school, they're often not teaching the students the full truth about the ramifications of their decisions, whether it's to have an abortion or to have the child be given to up for adoption. I know that, and a lot of parents know that, and that's why a lot of parents don't have their kids in public school, because of so much of their bias in their curriculum. But also the fact that they would be so callous to not think that there's enough students in crises who need support to be able to allow that club to exist. I think there's much more to it. But so what happened there? What happened
Well,
from there?
I sent a letter to the superintendent explaining the law, explaining that the school I had checked receives federal dollars, and because of that, they have voluntarily brought themselves under something called the Equal Protection Act. And that is an act that protects against prejudice against student clubs, particularly religious clubs. And so I explained the law to them, and I said, interesting, as if you had read my letter, is I said those very points, and that is that these students are bringing a perspective that the health class teachers are not allowed to bring because of the restrictions that the state of California puts on them. We need to put in a viewpoint, our clients, that is different from the government viewpoint.
Right. And that's why student clubs are so valuable, because it's students becoming a part, getting involved, and being able to contribute, as opposed to just one way from the government, from the state. And you did it. You made that very clear in writing.
Sure.
You sent that to the school district, I understand.
I did, and I also felt that I needed to address this notion that they had a low pregnancy rate at the school. And our clients take issue as to what the school or the ASB president deems is an acceptable rate of pregnancy for unwed teenage mothers.
Zero. If you talk to their moms and dads, zero.
Right.
Exactly. But their attitude, I think that was a cover from my perspective as to why they would say that and actually believe it. It's really hard to believe unless they think, well, we'll just, encourage abortion. I have a hard time understanding that. So they were put on notice, and we sent them. And one thing I like about our letters, Kevin, is when we send a letter to like a school district or some other place, it's not just a one or two sentences. It's really well researched. It cites the case law. It cites the statutory law. It makes it very clear to the other side that this is what you're doing wrong and this is what you need to do to correct it. And that's what you did. You made it very clear. And how did they respond?
Well, I don't get this very often, but the superintendent, he was on vacation, but somehow it got forwarded to him, and he called me on his cell right away and said he's going to counsel the ASB to reverse course on this after reading the letter. And to his credit, and he said if they don't reverse course, he's going to go to the school board to seek a reversal.
Excellent.
And so I think these are I think we do have some reasonable administrators out there. If things are explained to them, that they will do the right thing. Not always. But in this case, they did.
Yeah, definitely not always. But the great thing is he knows that what you provided him was sufficient to be able to be compelling enough that he could act with confidence to do the right thing. And he also happens to also be someone who obviously cares about the parents and really knows that a government school is really supposed to be a public school. And that's one where they care about the parents. They listen to the parents. And they understand that no parent would want their daughter to be in a situation where it's an unplanned pregnancy and all that they have to go through because of that. So hats off to that superintendent. Kevin, let me ask you, do you think that this is isolated, or do you think we're going to see more and more attempts by perhaps zealous school teachers, administrations, or even students to silence clubs, whether we're talking about pro-life clubs or we could be talking about Christian clubs? Do you think we're going to see more of that take place in our public high schools across the country and junior highs?
Well, we do see that. I get requests for help really from all over the country on this very issue. And it surprises me because the law is so very clear. We've actually only had to litigate this one time, and it was a very quick win. But the fact that there's still a lot of pushback. It does surprise me, but we do see it, absolutely.
Right. And we're seeing growing intolerance towards people of faith in our colleges, universities across the country, even private universities across the country. We see a greater hostility, and I think we're going to see more and more of this manifesting itself at our public high schools across the country as well. I want to just talk to you folks out there and just let you know that if this ever happens to you at your son's or daughter's high school or junior high, in your community, anywhere in the country, I don't care where you are in the United States, we at Pacific Justice Institute have a huge network of volunteer affiliate attorneys. We do all of our work without charge because of this huge attorney network. We have 5 full-time attorneys on staff ready there to provide support or to fly in if necessary. So if this ever happens to you, give us a call, and you can go straight to our website, pji.org, pji.org, pji.org. Kevin, couldn't you say with confidence that no matter where they are in the United States, that we at the Pacific Justice Institute are ready to go to bat for them? Any mom and dad out there, grandma and grandpa calling us, letting us know, or some students letting us know, we're willing and able to go to bat for them wherever they may be, wherever they are in the United States, correct?
Well, absolutely. We love helping, particularly these students who just want to share their faith, share the gospel, and do some good things in their community. And we just love to go and help them anywhere they're at.
Yeah, it is a joy. It really is, because we know that if we don't do that, then the attitude of many who are hostile towards Christianity and our society, who are becoming more expressive, more belligerent, more even violent at times, we've seen manifest itself in college universities. We know we're going to see that grow and grow unless we stand up to it. And that's what we want to do. One thing that makes us unique at Pacific Justice, by the way, one last point, is that we work hard to make sure that everyone gets help, that no one is left on the side of the road. So we're very unique. We don't just cherry pick the high-profile cases that are going to look great on TV or in a newsletter. We really work hard diligently to make sure everyone gets help, and we do our work completely without charge. And thanks to many of you out there who support our ministry through a tax-deductible donation, which, once again, if you need help, you want to support us, go to pji.org. That's pji.org. Kevin, thank you again for the wonderful update, and keep up the great work.
Thank you.
So, folks, there you have it. It's our God-given freedoms we're talking about. Now, let's choose to keep them. I'm Brad Dacus of the Pacific Justice Institute. Have a great weekend.